Hey everybody, it's Matthew Rathbun. Welcome to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe and like the video. It helps me out a whole lot. In this video, we are going to be tackling Google's NotebookLM as a research tool. And in this case, I'm in the real estate industry. And so we are going to be covering one or two practical purposes as a research tool for real estate agents, but it really applies to any business that you're in. Essentially, we're using this tool to upload a series of documents, PDFs, websites, whatever, so that we can have an ongoing conversation and a few really cool things that Google's NotebookLM does that I haven't seen anybody else do, including an AI generated podcast that'll summarize all the information for you in a few minutes. Let's jump in. All right, so I'm going to start basically at the end and then work my way backwards. I want to show you what this does. So you're going to get to this website, which is free, by the way, at notebooklm.google.com. Now, once you've gotten there, you can then create a new notebook. In this case, I'm going to show you just a quick example. I have uploaded the National Association of Realtors Profile of Home Buyers and Seller. It's an annual report that every year that kind of summarizes the activities of buyers and sellers, how they engage real estate agents and real estate in general. And it's a really good resource for market planning and just kind of setting the pace for the upcoming year for your practice. And once I've uploaded, in this case, this was a simple one. I'm going to give you a more complex one in just a minute. I uploaded the PDF as a source, and I can click on the guide here, and it created this is an AI generated podcast. So I'm just going to let you listen for a minute and see if you can tell the difference between the AI and real people.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going deep on the 2023 housing market.
Always an exciting topic.
It is. And we've got a ton to unpack from the National Association of Realtors 2023 Profile of Home Buyers and Sellers report.
That's the big one. They go all out every year.
They do. Over 4 decades of data in this thing. Can you believe it started with just 59 questions back in 1981?
59. Wow.
All right, so you can tell that's a pretty cool engagement between the two. And I've actually seen a lot of tests on this. I've done a lot of tests on this, and it's just that quality all the time. It's incredible. Now, what it actually will do is help me to research this data in a variety of ways. One, it has suggested questions, maybe some things that you would want to ask, or down here, you can just create your own questions and type out whatever you'd want from the sources you've provided for the research tool to look into. Now, I like this because it's not just going generally out to the website. I'm telling it exactly what sources I trust and how to get there. And again, in just a minute, I'll show you how to set this up. Additionally, it lets me create a frequently asked question guide by clicking the note there, and it will come up and generate that FAQ. And it also will give me study guides, a table of contents for the book, a timeline for information, etc. Now, one thing I will say here, so I'm going to ask it a question, and I think this is important to remember right off the beginning, is I'm going to ask a question is, what is the primary way that buyers find their agents? All right, and so I'm going to ask this question, and you're going to see that it's doing a little bit of thinking, and then it's going to come up and give you an answer. And then again, if you go and hover over these numbers, it tells you which of the resources you may have added over here on the side that it got its answer from. And as you click or hover, it'll tell you even what area it's referencing in the guidebook. So you see here, it's exhibits 411 through 414 were compiled to get you the answer what you're looking for. Now, with all AI tools, you want to give it a thumbs up if it gives you the right answer, or you can copy this content for whatever you're working on, or you want to save the notes. If you don't click save to notes, when you come back to this notebook, your results won't be there. Now, I think this is part of Google's promise to really not, save your data or use your data for learning in this case. I think that's the purpose for it, but I want to click on save notes because I want to come back to that before, and then you see each one of these tabs is a question or dialogue I've asked, and then there's the answer. Now you can have an ongoing chat. I can say, okay, this is great. What is the best way for me as an agent to help the buyer find me? And this just becomes an ongoing dialogue, as with most chat or AI or ChatGPT prompts here. Now, I'm going to go back over here And look, as you can see, just see the summary is here. These are the different options for what it can do. Then the podcast, which I think is probably the coolest feature here, and the ability to share through this link. And so I can make it public and share a link so other people can hear it, or I can click on the upside down ellipses here and click on download or make it go faster, which I think are cool features for resources if you're maybe building some videos or training assets that you want to supplement. It's a pretty cool feature. So let's talk about how we got here and why this is a little bit different than, say, ChatGPT or other features. I'm going to go back to the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. And I'm going to click on create new. And in this case, it's going to ask me for a number of resources. Now, the resources I'm using here are going to be the PDF that you can find on the nar.realtor website that has frequently asked questions. It was last updated September 5th, 2024. At the time of this recording, that was the latest version. I'm actually going to grab the actual settlement from the NAR settlement, the court order here that was signed, and then the final order that is signed there. And I want the original documents. I don't really want other people's opinion. I certainly don't want Facebook group opinions. I want the actual legal documents. And so I'm going to take those PDFs and I am going to drag them over here and drop them in. And as you can see over on the left, I'm creating resources. So there are 3 PDFs being included. Now, I also want to do something else. I'm going to go ahead to stay up to date with this. I'm going to go to the NAR website where they have the actual frequently asked questions, grab the link from that website, and go back to my resources. Over here, I'm going to click on add, and then I'm going to add a link. And you can see down here, I can either add documents from my own Google Drive, I can add a link from a website or YouTube for it to digest, or paste text that I copied from somewhere. So I'm going to click on website, paste the URL to the NAR website. Now, the reason I'm doing this, the PDF is nice. I like the PDF, but the PDF can become outdated. And because I want this notebook to be an ongoing research tool, I'm going to add the website link. So as the website is added to or improved by the NAR legal staff, I will continue to have it as an ongoing resource when I come back to this notebook in the future to ask future questions. Now, I think this for clarity, for those who are watching this who are realtors, I think the NAR legal staff has done a fantastic job of keeping the frequently asked question website up to date on the settlement and doing and giving very clear answers. From time to time, there are questions that are out of the norm. And so I think that the NAR legal staff trying to keep that frequently asked question usable is not putting every single question can ever come up, but rather the questions that are most often asked. And so since I'm an instructor and broker, I tend to come up with random stuff sometimes. And so I'm going to go ahead and add that link so that I can use that as a source as well as the actual legal documents. Now that I have all those documents in there, you can see that it's already started to give me the different things it can create. So I could create my own frequently asked question form from the 3 PDFs as well as the NAR website. And I can go back here and actually click on generate to start generating that podcast that you heard earlier. That's it. That's all it took. Providing the sources, and then from providing the sources to clicking generate was all it took to generate the podcast that I can now listen to on my way to the office or a client visit or whatever. And additionally, as you saw, I clicked the frequently asked question tab and it created its own frequently asked question form of probably the most commonly asked questions according to AI's research, they believe. I also have the timeline information, a briefing doc that will summarize the lawsuit, study guide if I'm preparing for a class or for training for these resources or submission for approval for CE, and a table of contents of all the documents if they were mushed together as they are here. So with that, I created a really slick research tool where I can come back and have a dialogue about this information over and over again. I think NotebookLM is the bomb. I think it's great, especially for me as an instructor and broker who needs to break down issues. I really do love the audio overview, or what I call the podcast view. I think most people call it that, because I've thrown a lot of data in here for other topics and then gotten a nice 15, 20 minute podcast, breaking it down for me and making it so I can come back later. And then as I showed you earlier, you can go here and start asking all the questions you want of this source to use in the future. So that's it. That's a breakdown of NotebookLM, at least as far as what I'm using. I know there's other uses for it and other cool things you can do with it, but I think this is what most mainstream users are going to use. It's a great tool. You should check it out. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And again, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much.